Hello and welcome to the next episode of Landmark News. Today's date is the 16th of May. In today's episode we'll be taking a look at the following: the power of competitions, landmarks of Landmark deadline closes, and SOE rejoices in the amount of player contribution. Steam Early Access is now a thing, detailed information regarding facts and possibilities. Landmark changes its name, and a response from a content creator. And finally, Community Spotlight. I take a look at Tonya's landmarks of Landmark entry and ask a few questions. So if you've not heard, the recent Landmark of Landmarks competition has attracted just short of 1,000 submissions. Submissions both inspiring and aesthetically varied, equate to tens of thousands of man hours focused on the purpose of creation with incredibly adaptive tools. The potential here over time is somewhat mind-numbing. I felt like bringing further attention to this. We could easily be bearing witness to a new weird form of artistic creation. These officially organised competitions could be some amazing marketing material, but more importantly it's a great way of bringing communities together. One considers the architectural endeavours of larger communities, like the one provided here by Jesse Cox. You see that organised events by way of SOE has endless potential. The whole purpose of building a game to build a game being clever enough, but utilising the power of communities just takes the concept to 11. I hope in future we can see these events organised between, say, 10 to 30 members of the community that are very well known by SOE, just taking part in a specially sanctioned event where they get an extended plot of land and all of the building tools necessary in a deadline of time, maybe some organisation prior to the event. I'd be fascinated to see what could come from it. Anyways, moving on. So Landmark is now on Steam. This is fantastic news, especially for fellow desk cleaners like myself. I wanted to talk about this subject, but I'm aware that information is still coming out as of a daily basis at the moment, so do bear in mind that the information that I give you could be out of date within a week. So yes, you have been warned. Let me tell you a tale of mighty quest for epic loot. I purchased the game back when Total Biscuit was first making his videos on the game. And this was way before they even approached Steam. Subsequently, when they finally did get onto Steam, you found that the previous people who'd bought early access for the title outside of Steam were never given Steam keys. This meant that if you wanted the game to be an official Steam title, with all of the trimmings that gives you, you were required to buy the game again essentially. There was no option to download the title without purchasing the keys. Of course, if you did do that, then you could just enter your old account information. As at the current time, that is essentially what is going on with Landmark. Unfortunately, this has upset some of the community, and I just wanted to address their concerns and give them some information about what could happen in future. Now, first up, let me say that in terms of the issue with Mighty Quest for Epic Loot, as soon as the game actually came out of early access, you were free to download the title. So if you had your previous account set up, then everything would work perfectly. People have come out and said, why aren't you giving us Steam keys? It's a really good question. This is purely my opinion, but if Valve was to come out and give everyone in the beta Steam keys, then that would be 20,000 people downloading up to 3 GB files, 1 GB updates every other week for free. Because that's their server space. They've taken no financial gain as of current for the people who've already paid, so why would they give up their server space for people who have not given them a penny? And then you have a look at Sony Online Entertainment saying, well, why haven't you set up a deal with Valve that could enable us to have Steam keys? Well, their perspective is, okay, we could do that. We'd have to give a large portion of money to Valve to enable that, or we could spend the money on our development and make the game better and just wait until the game comes out of early access and everyone can just download it anyway. So if you look at it from that perspective, there isn't really any logic to getting upset about this. It's just an unfortunate situation for the people who are currently in beta, but it will be resolved when the game is fully released. Now, that is assuming that this is the same case as what's happened with Mighty Quest for Epic Loot. There are differentiations in this subject. If you look at things like Trackmania, the people who had access outside of Steam were then given Steam keys so that they could just use their account as soon as it was put onto Steam. Now, I don't know of any other game that's happened in. I'd love to hear if anybody else has heard of any other experiences of this. I must say that it's very difficult to find information on this subject because it's quite often not something that the public gets much information about. I do feel that it's warranted some people are upset by this, and they do deserve recognition for their investment of time and money. However, I also understand that SOE might have been between a rock and a hard place. At the end of the day, I'm not a professional journalist, I'm just trying to find all of the information I can on this subject. So yes, I mean, this is a quick summary of what's happened. Let's move on. So, let me just quickly jump in and say that I am aware of the name change from EverQuest Next Landmark to Landmark. I think it's a great decision. However, while the game is still in its early stages, its ties to the EverQuest brand in terms of the YouTube search algorithm is extremely important. Therefore, because I want my information to get out to as many people as possible, there will be a period of change in which I switch over from one name to the other. In terms of the name of the show, I don't really think it's important that needs to change because the show will eventually adapt to be serving for EverQuest Next as well. But for the time being, I think it's important to say that I was wrong in not updating the art assets sooner. But yeah, if you're not aware, it has changed its name. Do be aware of that. Now let's talk community spotlight, shall we? So after having a look around this week, I happened across the player Tonya. After a brief conversation, I found out that Tonya is one of many who submitted an entry for the Landmarks of Landmark competition. The submission was that of a travelling fun fair, and it got me thinking about the diversity of builds available for this game. After asking Tonya what gave them the inclination to build a Ferris wheel instead of a stonking great castle, they explained that after hearing about the competition, they felt it would be really nice just to build something all about fun. It's based on a real location, vague memories from their youth. A fun fair would arrive in Tonya's village year upon year. It's obviously a very fun memory for them. However, thanks to Landmark, Tonya could now recreate it. 5 to 6 hours a day for 2 solid weeks is the time that they spent on this build. They had no templates to work with. I asked Tonya what they're most looking forward to about the up and coming changes to the game. Apparently it's fighting orcs and goblins. Tonya feels that with the addition of combat, the game will become much more immersive and therefore enjoyable for them. If you'd like to find Tonya's build, you can find them on Understanding Brook T4, a great way south of the central hub. Anyway, that's all we've got time for today. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe, and if you're feeling very generous, please leave me a comment in the section down below. Thank you and goodbye.